YouTube, welcome to a new program review. Today we are working on Stelmaria's program. So, he or she runs an upper-lower 4-day split. And we're going to start by reading the notes because it's very important to understand the goals and limitations of the person before we start discussing our program. So, they tell me ab work is not a priority because of scar tissue that causes weakness in the abs. So that means potential hernia if they push. I do a bit of work there. Cardio is done sporadically. They work 20 minutes a day and they use an exercise bike sometimes because they're happy at their level of leanness. Let me say here, and you might know it, but the amount of cardio you do has an impact on your level of leanness. A lot of that is also due to the calories you eat. You don't really say if you're doing that to burn calories to be in a deficit. That being said, you can also lose fat without being in a deficit. For now, he does some bodyweight neck work at home, nice, but it's pretty basic because he doesn't really have an issue with his neck size. Okay, perfectly fine. I do believe the neck is a very important muscle group to work. Personally, I gained half an inch on it, and I really like the way it looks. I'm going to keep working it, but for some people, you know, if it's in harmony with the rest of your body, who cares? So I won't have them do more neck work or ab work. As far as cardio goes, they're covered too. Okay, so upper lower 4-day split. So this means that they're going to do 4 days of training in the week, and so they have 2 days that repeat themselves. Right off the bat, this means that the exercise selection is going to be fairly low. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does limit your ability to progress in a sense. But if progress occurs within those 2 days, then there's no reason to implement more days, right? It also means that most likely certain muscles are not going to be covered as much as they should unless the days are very long, which is not the case here. Because what you need to understand is frequency is important for muscle building, volume within the same session is important for muscle building, and the number of sets and reps you do within the session is important for muscle building because it's what creates that volume. So if I see a program that's very short, by definition, I know that there are going to either be muscle groups that are going to be undertaxed, or it means that all of the muscles will be covered, but no muscle will be really overstimulated to create impressive growth. Of course, this depends also on the level of proficiency of the lifter. Novices need less volume. Intermediate needs more volume, etc., etc. And also there are specific differences between individuals. Some people respond very well to intensity. Some people actually get sick if you put them on high volume training, etc., etc. Okay, so let's start with his upper day. Cable rows 3x12 to 20 with isometric holds after the set. So I suppose he does the isometric hold with the weight here and the lats fully engaged. Straight up, I'm not a big fan of starting your day with cable work. It's my bias, but I do think you need to start with strength work, and I think cable work doesn't qualify as strength work. It's a bit dogmatic, I accept it, but I see that right afterwards you do flat dumbbell bench, and I personally think that should be your first exercise. I don't know if you superset them, you weren't clear on them, but I do think you could do your flat dumbbell bench because you do 4 sets of 10 to 15, and right afterwards do your cable rows. The rep ranges are different enough that it would offer a nice stimulus to your body. You are not going to be using the same muscle groups, it's antagonistic muscles, so it's going to be also healthy for your shoulders, and it's going to promote cardiovascular endurance and metabolism boosts. So, on the flat bench, you do 4 sets of 10 to 15. I really like that. So overall, you will do upwards of 60 reps on the cable rows and upwards of 45 reps on more than that actually, 60 reps as well on the flat dumbbell bench. So they are equal. I would personally tell you, because I just told you to superset them, to do 4 sets of cable rows, to go with the 4 sets of bench so that you can superset them. So that also you're going to do an extra 20 reps on a pull, because I think you should work your pulls more than your push. Why? Because your upper back has more potential for strength and size. So if you feed it a little bit more volume, it'll be better in the long run. After that, you do 1-armed rows. And you say it's a 3x12, each arm, 1-armed. So each arm, okay? So 1-armed rows, it's dumbbell rows, I suppose. I like the rep range because your back is already fatigued. You are still doing an horizontal pull because you're doing it after a cable row, but it's okay because now it's unilateral. It's a different angle too because you're pulling against gravity instead of a cable. I mean, in a sense, a cable is pulling against gravity because you're pulling weights that are going up, but you know what I mean. You're pulling on a different plane, is what I'm saying. After that, you do 1-armed downward cable chest flies. Sorry for my accent. So yes, okay, so like this. So that's for the chest. So I like it because you're following the strength work of the chest and upper back with isolation movements that are going to be lighter, where you're going to get the squeeze and the focus on the muscle. I like that. After that, you do shrugs with each arm, so I suppose you do it with dumbbells. 4 sets of 12 to 20. I love that rep range for the shrugs. I think it's a very nice rep range for the shrugs. After that, you do Superman hyperextensions, 3 sets of 15. Okay, very nice. I like the rep range as well. I would have you do a 4th set, and I'm going to explain you why. After that, you do bodyweight rope tricep extensions. If you do them, I suppose you do them with elbow flexion for the long head of the tricep. That's good. You superset that, as you write it, with face pulls. Okay, good. Different muscle groups, small muscle groups. This is not going to be taxing on the cardiovascular system. You can do it easy. Okay. The face pulls are 3x15. I like that rep range too. And then rope cable bicep curls, 3x15. Incline dumbbell curls, 3x12, with iso hold after set. So I suppose again that the isometric hold, you do it at the top. Okay, so all of this isolation work at the end I really like. I like that you keep it in the 3 sets rep range, the 3 sets range with higher reps, because you're going to be tired at this point, but those muscles are not dangerous. Those movements are not dangerous, so you can really push the bill on them. What I would say is, superset the 1-armed rows with the 1-armed downward cable chest flies. The shrugs can be their own thing. You can superset them with some calves if you want to, but they can be their own thing. And after that, or rather, the shrugs actually, if you do an extra set of hyperextensions, superset them with the hyperextensions. It's not going to tax you. And then the tricep extensions, you superset with the face pulls. And I would even say add the rope cable bicep curls to the superset and make a giant set, because tricep extensions, face pulls, bicep curls train completely different muscles. So that's good. And after that, the incline dumbbell curls, you cannot put that in the giant set because you would be doing biceps twice in a row, and that's dumb. So you can finish your day with the incline dumbbell curls and give it everything and do the iso hold after the set. And here, so okay, so that's for the day. I don't see anything wrong with that day. I do think you do a ton of cables. If you get good results from cables, do it. I personally have never met anyone who got an impressive physique naturally from cables. I prefer free weights. I think it's more conducive to hypertrophy. Can't really explain why, to be honest. For me, I like to use cables as finishing work because you can work certain angles, and the tension of the cable is different than free weight. But I notice a direct correlation between people who use a lot of cables and people who don't get super big. Just saying. So that day is in the bag. And then the lower day. So the lower day, you start with leg extensions. Now, you didn't tell me if the issue you had in your abdominal wall stopped you from doing compound movements for the lower body, but I don't see any squats or deadlifts. So I'm going to suppose it does. If it doesn't, start doing squats and deadlifts. And by squat and deadlifts, I mean knee flexions. So it can be any type of knee flexion with weight or any type of hip hinge with weight. You don't have to do a conventional deadlift and a normal back squat, but you do need to pull from the floor and you do need to do some heavy knee flexion movements if you want to grow, if you want to build muscle. Because the issue too, and that's in a sense I know how to explain that, the issue too with those cable rows and all those cable curls and everything is that it's tough to control intensity on these. Because I do think that they promote mechanical failure before they promote muscular failure. Meaning that the posture you're going to have to use to target the muscle is going to fail faster than it would on a compound movement or free weights. And the same problem applies to free weights. The difference is that when it applies to free weights, you fail the lift. So your mechanical failure leads to the set ending, meaning that you can then brainstorm and fix the problem to promote muscular fatigue instead of mechanical fatigue. Here it's not the case. On cables you can fail and keep moving the body and adding body English to make up for the fact that you're mechanically not able to lift the weight anymore, but you stop recruiting your muscles optimally at this point. So, then this would be a very nice topic for a video actually. Let me write that down. It should be right there. Okay, sorry about that. So, let's get back to it. Lower, you start with leg extensions. I don't like leg extensions. There have been 1,000 videos made about leg extensions. They can be dangerous for certain individuals. Some people can do them right. I do think that extending the knee with weight at the top of the knee is very dangerous for your joints. You don't want that. 4x12, okay. After that, you hamstring curls on the machine. I like hamstring curls, but you're doing 3x12. You should be doing more work for your posterior chain and for your quads for the health of your knees. And also because the hamstring are a bigger muscle group. So you would want, I think, to do at least 4x15 on those hamstring curls and superset them with the leg extensions. And you do 4 reps on the last set. Okay, nice, but you can still do that with higher rep range and sets. To that, you do seated leg press. Okay, same logic as with the dumbbell bench for the upper. Start your day with the seated leg press. It's your strength work, treat it as such. Start with the leg press, pre-fatigue hamstring glutes and quads, and then finish it with the leg extensions. Don't waste your juice on isolation movements. Do compounds. So you do 4x12 to 20. I like the evolving rep range. I do think though that even though I told you the rep range was good for cable rows, go back to what I just said. It's good for cable rows because cable rows are going to induce a lot of mechanical failure, meaning that it's good to give yourself that window because that way you can stop on a rep or you feel like you stop using the muscle and you start really moving your back to move the weight. It's not the same for seated leg press. You can't cheat a seated leg press until you cut the range of motion short. I think you should be doing 4 sets of 12 to 15 for that, so that it keeps you accountable for the quality of the reps. You tell me you do calf stuff at home. Okay. I don't like that because I feel like most people who say, "Oh, I'm going to work my abs or calves at home," they never do it. So I think it's better to do it in the environment of the gym. And even though I told you I tell in my videos people to not superset their strength work to stay fresh, supersetting single leg calf raises with seated leg curl is not going to burn you. And in a sense, it's going to activate your calves, so you're going to feel them on the leg press, and that can make for some interesting mind-muscle connection. So I think you should try it. You should do a 3x25. I think you should do a 4x25. More volume for the calves, always good. You superset with kneeling calf stretch. I have no idea what that is. I think I know, but good. Weighted stretch for the calves is very good. You do 3x10, you're going to do 4x10, just to match with the superset. After that, even though it's a lower body day, you do slow tricep dips. So it's not really a lower day. It's a leg day with extra upper body work, which is fine if you want your upper body to catch up and grow more than the legs. You do slow tricep dips, 3x12. I like the rep range. I'm going to assume you want that day to be low volume for the upper body, so that's okay. Body weight seated, so with your body weight, of course. Seated dumbbell shoulder press, 3x12. I like it. Here, I don't dog on you for not having evolving rep ranges, because it's a day where you're going to want the volume to stagnate and the weight to go up, because it's less variables. If it's your low upper body volume day, it's fine to start the same rep range and just push the weight. It becomes an issue if it stops progression, because it gives you another variable to play with to progress. Lateral raises, you do 3 sets of 12 to 20. I would tell you to not do evolving rep ranges here. Just do 3 times 12. And then tricep row pushdowns, 3 sets of 12 to 20. Here, the evolving rep range is okay because rope pushdowns don't really suffer from mechanical failure. When you can't go anymore on tricep pushdowns, it's usually because the muscle of the tricep is burnt. Unless you really start swinging and using your body weight, then you know you're doing something wrong, but I hope you're not doing that. The issue with the lateral raises is that mechanical failure occurs much easier. But if you're the type of person who has a very good control of their delts, you can stick with your evolving rep range. So, the overview of that day. As I said, you do your seated leg press first, then you superset with the leg calf raises, then you do the leg extension and hamstring curls superset. Then you can also, you're not going to superset the tricep dips with the seated dumbbell shoulder press, because they both recruit the presses, the lateral and medial head of the triceps. So I would say superset the kneeling calf stretch with the tricep dips, and then you can definitely superset the lateral raises and the tricep row pushdowns, because they work different muscle groups. And it's going to also, as I say, promote your stamina and cardiovascular endurance. That's going to promote muscular endurance in the long run. So that's pretty much that for your program, Stelmaria. Thank you for sharing. Check out the comments, and if you have any questions or stuff you want me to be more specific about concerning your program, let me know, and I'll be happy to help you. Have a good day.